Hello and welcome to the Underdog Racing League Erhardt Group 150 season finale for the Cup Series here in the Underdog Racing League, live tonight from Texas Motor Speedway. Tonight's race sponsored by the Erhardt Group. You can use the command !Erhardt in chat to learn more about what they are doing. Whether you are interested in buying, selling, investing, or just want to stay updated on the Oklahoma real estate market, our goal is to provide you with all of the resources and tools to prepare yourself for a great real estate experience. The Erhardt Group can offer expert market knowledge, professional services, and an innovative online approach. You can check them out at erhardtgroup.com. And the link is in the chat. And we want to welcome you here tonight to V-Speed for tonight's season finale. Going to be a lot of fun here. Drivers entering with a chance to win the championship. The championship leader, you see him right there, go for a big slide out of turn number 2. That is James Loveland. And James with 5 wins this season. Let's take a look at the points as they enter into tonight's race. You see 5 victories there at the top of the point standings. Sean Huffstetler a little ways behind, but I think still within reach. These guys get a drop week, so it could tighten things up. We'll have to find out as the race progresses and how things go here tonight. But James still needs to perform here, and right now 5th fastest in the practice session. And Sean Huffstetler right there in 6th behind him on the practice pylon. And he comes in here 35 points behind. Mike Aiello Jr. also within striking distance potentially, depending on how things shake out with the drop weeks. He is 3rd in points. Trevor Earhart in the 4th position, sponsoring tonight's event. He currently shows as 9th fastest on the board, and then you've got Nick Alves in the 5th position in points coming into tonight's race. Then Kevin Orlando Jr., Tony Baird, Ian Baker, Chris Heights, and Matt Janes rounding out the top 10. And then you see David Buell, Jake Williams, Dylan Walterman, Parker Johnston, Scott Kerberg, Dennis Steele, Justin Sunard, Douglas Wolkett, Brett Sommers, and John Magner rounding out the top 20 entering tonight's event. We'll see how everything shakes out after we get to the checkered flag. But speaking of checkered flags, practice session is wrapping up, and the drivers going to head to the qualifying session. We'll see where they end up here. Lap times fastest in the practice session looks like it's around a 28:19. We'll see if anyone can beat that in the qualifying session as things get reset. Let's take a look at the weather for tonight's event as well. It's an evening race. You see the massive Jumbotron on the back stretch here. I think it's the largest any sporting arena in the United States. As Mike Aiello Jr. rolls out onto the racetrack to try and put his lap time down in the crash test vehicle. Interesting. Hopefully he's not intending to use that for its purpose as it's painted. But track conditions here tonight: 67-degree air temp and 68-degree track temp. So pretty cool. Should be plenty of grip, but this track is very tricky. This 1.5 mile speedway that's been recently reconfigured. Let's go on board with Mike here and see how he does getting around this speedway. And this is not the Legacy Texas. This is the newest version. Turns 1 and 2 reconfigured, and 3 and 4 very similar to the older version of the track. But you can pretty much go flat out here as long as you get down into turn 1 correctly. We'll watch Mike as he tries to improve on a 29-22. I think a little lift there. He makes his way out of turn number 2, nice and clean through there. Down into turn number 3. Mike currently 6th of 6 qualifiers, so he needs to improve if he wants a good solid starting position here tonight. And across the start finish line, he will go with a 28.77, which shows his 2nd fastest to Sean Huffstetler, who's on lap number 2. Now Nate Morris to the top with the 28.63. You can see the lap time significantly slower than in practice, where they've got the benefit of the draft. Sean through the tri-oval across the line. He'll go with a 28.684. That'll be good for third fastest. Nate Morris, your fastest driver on track. Ian Baker takes it off the speedway. He is second fastest. And we'll see if anybody else is out here still running some laps. Dennis Steele on track. Completes his first lap at 29.11. And he is 12th fastest right now. It's down the backstretch he goes into turn number 3. Through 3 and 4 out of turn number 4. Headed towards the start-finish line. Can he improve his lap time up to a 28.86? That will be good enough for 11th fastest right now. As Matt Janes across the start-finish line to begin his first hot lap. And Brad Allison hanging on at the top of the board now. The 06 is James Loveland, your points leader. He goes to the top of the board now with a 28.58. That is 200ths faster than Brad Allison. But the top 5 all really within a 1/10 of a second, so very tight as Dylan Walterman goes up to 5th. That's another one in that margin. He catches the wall on his slowdown. And going to have a little bit of a smaller field here tonight, I think, as Trevor Earhart makes his way on the speedway. Just a minute left in qualifying. He should be able to get both laps in. As he comes across the start-finish line to begin lap number 1, he will be the final qualifier in the field. And as he comes across the start-finish line, they may... Oh, it'll be basically the very end of the session, so we'll just follow along with Trevor, see how he does here and where he ends up in the field. We do want to welcome all the viewers who stuck with us so far this season. Appreciate every one of you for tuning in. And hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast as Erhardt across the line. His first lap goes a 28.67 as he looks to try and improve on that here on lap number 2. Down the back stretch, a little wiggle down towards turn number 3. Right up next to that white line, not quite on it, but within a foot as he comes through the tri-oval now across the start-finish line, and Erhardt will improve. He goes to a 28.503. That's going to be the pole time. The final qualifier, Trevor Earhart, the Erhardt 150, or the Erhardt Group 150 rather. He will take over the top spot. And we're going to go to our starting grid. Let's take a look at where your favorite drivers are starting in tonight's race. Trevor Earhart, sponsor of tonight's event. Maybe a little collusion there. He's got a little extra horsepower on tap or something. I don't know, maybe some protests at the end of this thing, but probably not. Trevor Earhart, though, a 28.5. Fantastic lap time puts him on the pole as we get ready to roll here in Texas. James Loveland, your points leader. He's going to roll off on the front row in the second position. So great starting spot for your points leader coming into the race. Brad Allison going to be rolling off in third position here, and Nate Morris starting in 4th. Ian Baker going to be starting in 5th position. Dylan Walterman going to be starting 6th. 7th is Sean Huffstetler. 8th is Justin Sunard. 9th is Kevin Orlando Jr. And rounding out the top 10 will be Mike Aiello Jr. in the number 74 machine. Jake Williams going to be rolling off 11th. Matt Janes going to be starting in 12th. 13th will be Douglas Wolcott. 14th is Nick Alves. 15th is Tony Baird. 16th, Dennis Steele. 17th, Christopher Heitz. 18th, Scott Kerberg. 19th, Brett Sommers. Rounding out the top 20, John Magner, the number 15 machine. And Parker Johnston rounds out the field. Looks like he just put in a bogey lap time, 33 seconds. It's well off the full pace. But Parker Johnston going to be rolling off that 21st and final position as drivers have started the engines up. And we are about to get underway here for the season finale. And cheer on your favorite driver in chat. Let us know you're out there and who you're rooting for to win tonight's event. And we'll try and follow along with those drivers throughout the night. It should be a pretty good one here. Texas, with this new package, the reconfiguration, can be a very competitive race. Should be a lot of fun. Maybe some beating and banging as the race goes on. We'll probably see contact and controversy. And I think just by nature of starting the event, I think James Loveland probably has the championship in the bag, but we don't want to call anything too soon. So we're going to have to run 100 laps here tonight, 150 miles, and we will crown a champion in the Underdog Racing League. And next week we will be doing a charity race on Wednesday night as well. Scott Kerberg putting on a Bikes for Tykes event. Going to be raising money for some bicycles for children. And a really good cause there, so you won't want to miss that race as the pace car makes the hard left-hand turn to start the race. And green flag in the air. Trevor Earhart gets us going. And he jumps out to a very significant lead, as James Loveland did not get rolling very well. He's going to lose quite a few positions as the field dives down into turn number 1. Erhardt already out in front by nearly a second. And he is going to see that gap shrink as Brad Allison in his wake. You're going to start pulling him back in with the draft, but maybe not as he races side by side with Ian Baker. So Ian going to take second position away through 3 and 4. And lap 1 going into the books here in the Erhardt Group 150. Trevor Earhart leads it. We bring up the scoring pylon so you can follow along. Erhardt out in front. Ian Baker in that second position, towing Brad Allison. Now Brad going to make the same move Ian made last lap. As they dive down into turn number 3, side by side for second position, and the gap has minimized down to half a second to Trevor Earhart. And now Nate Morris in the mix here for this second position. And right behind them, James Loveland starting to close back in, as Sean Huffstutler and Justin Sunard, a couple of race winners here this season, find themselves in 6th and 7th positions. Sean working a little higher entry there. The Sun Energy number 94. Right there behind him, the Shell 33 of Sunard on the back bumper. Not able to make a move just yet, but the battle for the lead is on as Brad Allison has cut down that 0.9 of a second margin down to just, well, not even a car length. It's the 03 on the back bumper, the 97. And here he's going to look to the inside down into turn number 3. And the 03 of Allison going to take over the top spot, and he will take the lead away and lead lap number 4 here at Texas Motor Speedway. And now the battle for second with Erhardt and Morris, but Morris not going to get the run down into turn number 1. He'll battle it up with Ian Baker side by side for third. A lot of activity at the front of this race. Ian Baker a little squirrely through 3 and 4. The 22 nearly catches the wall, and they're going to single file out the 88 to third position, 22 to fourth. And James Loveland, your points leader, 5 victories this year. He rides in the 5th position. Justin Sunard able to get around Huffstutler, who has dropped back to the 10th position. That 94 car doesn't look like he made any kind of contact, but has lost quite a bit of ground as the 51 of Matt Janes behind him got a touch on the apron there. And Kevin Orlando Jr. going to move to the 9th position now, getting around Huffstutler. He was fastest in the practice session, so look for that 27 to move towards the front. As Matt Janes getting very squirrely out of turn 2. That low exit able to hang on to it, but that was a close call for Matt. Up at the front, Erhardt has taken the lead back away. What happened to Brad Allison? He's all the way back to 6th. Wonder if maybe he had a moment similar to what we just saw Matt Janes have. But the Custom Paints and Diecast 03 back to 6th position now is the Erhardt Group number 97 leading the way. And he's got Ian Baker all over the back bumper and looking to the inside into turn number 3. And again, Erhardt just going to give that position away. And now Ian Baker to the top spot, the 88. And Ian, a race winner not too long ago. Oh, rather, he finished 2nd at the Daytona road course, the last race we broadcast 2 weeks ago. Looked like he had a shot at winning that thing and led quite a few laps, but did not end up coming away with the victory. His only victory this season coming at the Talladega race, where he started 10th and came home with the victory. The race previous to that at Homestead, he had actually led 84 laps, so he has been a contender. 7 top 10s, 5 top 5s this season, as Erhardt there behind him. Erhardt with 6 top 5s, 9 top 10s, 2 victories, and comes in here 4th in points with a chance to improve on that. So that's going to be his goal here tonight, get as many points as possible, and he could potentially still have a chance to fight for that championship, but definitely a large margin up to James Loveland, the 56 machine, who rides in 5th here. Very good run so far, as things have definitely spread out. Let's take a look a little farther back here. Battle side by side between Christopher Heights and Brett Sommers, and Sommers getting the better of the 21 this time out of turn 2. Up in front of them, Tony Baird, Matt Janes, Jake Williams, and others battling for position just outside the top 10. And with a smaller field here tonight, I don't think we're going to see many cautions. Although we have seen drivers get very loose. You see Sommers way up the racetrack, nearly catches the outside wall, and he's going to have to slow way up. That's going to allow Christopher Heights back in the picture as they continue to battle for 16th and 17th positions. And the battle for the lead is still on. Up here, Ian Baker tries to peak low underneath, or Erhardt tries to peak low underneath Baker. Can't make it work just yet, but big run down the backstretch. He's going to look low again. Ian going to give him the inside lane. And they will fight side by side, and nearly contact. There's the 88, a little squirrely. The 97 drifted up. They continue to race on. The 22 of Nate Morris now going to challenge for 2nd, and maybe even challenge for the lead. As the top 3 fight it out, James Loveland has moved up to 4th, and he leads Justin Sunard, number 33, and the 03 of Brad Allison. It looks like Scott Kerberg struggling in that number 14 machine. He's at the tail end of the field. Heavy right side damage, and he is currently about a half lap behind. And losing quite a bit of time lap after lap. In a battle up here between Dylan Walterman and Tony Baird, and Walterman's going to win that race out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. But the 13 going to pull back underneath, so Baird going to take that spot right back away, and he'll move to the 14th position. The Wonder Bread Chevy Camaro. So up here, look at this line of cars now. 6 cars really under a blanket as James Loveland going to move to third. I think he saved his stuff. And he said now it's time to go. 18 laps in. He's up to third and closing on Nate Morris. And he's going to pull right back to the bumper of the 22 and look to the inside down the backstretch. And look at Justin Sunard also closing in. And Loveland going to take second away just that easily. And Morris fighting back using the draft down the front stretch. As lap number 20 goes up on the board. It's clean and green so far in this race. The season finale, the Erhardt Group 150, knocking laps out very quickly here as Loveland closing in now 2 car lengths behind Trevor Earhart. Now the battle for third, Justin Sunard and Nate Morris fighting it out side by side. Ian Baker right there behind them. Can he make a pass and get back in the top 3? Down into turn number 1, Erhardt still leading, but James Loveland has closed in, and we had a car on pit road there. Scott Kerberg actually leaving the pit lane. It looks like he may have used his fast repair, and it does appear that way. Douglas Wolkett also made a pit stop about a lap ago. So some drivers kind of short pitting here on this first run, but Doug with, actually it looks like he may have made a mistake. It was only 1.5 seconds on pit lane, so I think he might have just hit the wall. Let's see if we can find out what happened here. Yeah, he went for a ride through the grass in front of the 48 of Johnston through the grass. Not sure what happened to Doug there. He slowed up a lot and then just cut through the pit lane there at the end. Not sure if he's going to have to serve a penalty or not, but that remains to be seen, as the 97 of Erhardt still holding on to the lead over James Loveland. With the 97, you see him starting to struggle here out of turn 2. A little wiggle. Here comes Loveland to the inside, going to try and take the lead away. And Erhardt trying to get a big run up on that high side, but James Loveland, your points leader, 5-time winner this season, he's going to go to the lead, but here comes Erhardt back to the inside. Kind of a long-winded crossover, but it may work out for Trevor. But Loveland with a good run up high. He's able to keep it up there in the 88 of Ian Baker right down on the apron, making that work. Oh, and Trevor Earhart, he's got a wiggle going through 3 and 4. The 56 of Loveland tags the wall because of it. Really got him out of shape. And he brushes the outside wall. Not too bad of a hit, but definitely going to affect the handling and straight line speed of that race car. So Loveland, who charged to the front, now finds himself fighting for third with Sunard as Ian Baker back up towards the front challenging. Oh, and the 22 of Nate Morris. I think contact there with the 03 of Allison. Oh, big net code there, the 22. As he tags the outside wall after collecting that race car, but he's going to have some damage. And now the battle for the lead. Ian Baker going to dive down to the inside. He'll take it away very easily, and Trevor Earhart going to drop in line in second, about a car length and a half behind, but he'll gain that back as they dive down into turn number 1. The gap just 1 car length, but Trevor on the apron again. He's caught that apron a few times now. Really pushing the limits of the racetrack. Justin Sunard up to third. He's been able to get around James Loveland. Brad Allison up here in the fourth position after starting in the third position. He did lead a couple laps early on in this, but has not been able to get back up there. And right now, Ian Baker, who's led 8 laps, starting to try and increase that margin between himself and Erhardt, but it's not happening just yet. Still a car length and a half between those two. And only 2 drivers have brought it down pit road, or only 1 driver rather. That was Scott Kerberg to get the damage repaired and hoping to probably catch a caution, but the way these cars are starting to get spread out does not look like that's going to be the case. Ian Baker in the lead, Trevor Earhart second now, a few car lengths back. Sunard third, Brad Allison fourth. James Loveland in the 5th position, trying to hold off Mike Aiello Jr., who's gained a few spots in this event. Up 4 positions. Nate Morris, after collecting the car, back 3 spots to 7th. Kevin Orlando Jr. in 8th. Sean Huffstetler in 9th. Nick Alves 10th. There's a battle back here. Jake Williams, Tony Baird, and Alves fighting for that 10th, 11th, and 12th position. And 72 of Wolcott, he's going to bring it on to pit lane this time. Get that fast repair applied to his race car, which was pretty heavily damaged after the contact with Parker Johnston. And there are a few drivers that are starting to fall out of touch with the lead. You see Johnston with the nose damage back here in 19th position, about 18.2 seconds off the lead. Dennis Steele about 2 seconds up the road from him. He's got he does not have damage, but just not able to keep up with the lead pack here. Brett Sommers with a little bit of right side damage at number 7. He's in 17th. Magner right there in front of him in 16th, 14 seconds in front of the lead, or behind the leaders. About a half lap down. As we are a third of the way through the race, we're going to cut quickly to a side-by-side commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to V-Speed, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing with specialized packages to help grow your league and advertise your sponsors.
Shot at it, I think, and right now Stravato with that advantage. It's half a car length the difference between first and second going into turn 1. He gives the bumper to Connor Horn.
These two have gone all year to get to this point. Jacob Shorba drifting up the racetrack. They make contact. The 88 goes around. The 95 goes around. The 12 caught in it.
Our design team can help you create anything from paint schemes to sim rig parts with expertise in both 2D and 3D design with 3D printing capabilities. Looking to get into broadcasting yourself? We can help you design and operate custom overlays to make your stream look as professional as possible. Our team can create and manage custom merchandise sales for you and your team. Check out our shop to see what we have in stock and how we can create some awesome merch for you. Check out our race replays on YouTube or catch us live weekly on Twitch. Visit us at vspeedsim.com to see how we can help you on your iRacing journey.
And back at the racetrack now, Justin Sunard here in third. On board with him for the moment. He rides behind Ian Baker and Trevor Earhart as we are approaching lap 40 already. The race just flying by. These three all within 3/4 of a second. Sunard started 8th. He has moved up 5 spots. Erhardt started on the pole. He's led 17 laps here tonight. Currently riding in that 2nd spot, trying to get the lead back away from Ian Baker, who's now led his 18th lap of the race. So I think that's going to be the most, definitely is the most of anyone. With Erhardt now at 17 behind him. But a pretty interesting race at the front of the field, and it's gotten fairly spread out throughout the field. No significant battles to speak of. And when do these drivers make a pit stop? Do they go all the way to lap 50? And with the way this thing's going, just try to one-stop it. As bit of a wiggle there for Ian Baker. Here comes Erhardt to the inside. He's going to take the lead back away. So Trevor Earhart, big run out of turn number 2. He'll take the lead away here. Lap 41 goes up on the board. And the 97 finds himself back at the point. Can he pull away? No one's really been able to get out in front as Ian Baker all over the back bumper already. He's going to try and get that 97 car a little bit loose as they dive down into 3 and 4. But Trevor Earhart in control of this thing for the moment. He gets a little bit of a wiggle out of turn 4. Ian is right there in case he makes a mistake, but look at Justin Sunard starting to close in. That gap now just 0.4 of a second. And Justin, a little wiggle out of turn 2. That's going to cost him some momentum. But the gap remains right around 0.4 of a second to the lead. And he is closing. Last time by was about 1/10 faster than Trevor Earhart. And about 0.5 faster than Ian. And this time across the line, exactly the same lap time as Ian Baker. And slightly faster than Trevor. And you can see what he's doing here, working up about a lane over those guys out of turn number 2. The lights coming on. So that margin remains right around 0.4 of a second. And Ian Baker goes in real low there. He's going to lose quite a bit of momentum. That's going to open up an opportunity for Sunard to maybe make something happen down here on this end of the racetrack. Not going to take advantage of that just yet, but he will enter high and he'll get a good exit. But now Erhardt with some breathing room. He's going to pull a bit of a margin over Ian Baker. 0.3 of a second now. The top 3 have broken away. Brad Allison in 4th position. The 03 about 2.4 seconds back. And he leads this small group of race cars, Mike Aiello Jr. and James Loveland. As Brett Sommers coming off the pit lane. He had some right side damage and he's going to pit just a bit early. Thank you for the follow, Sizzle. Appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in and hope you're enjoying the broadcast as pit cycle is not really started just yet as far as I can tell. Just a few drivers at the back of the field bringing it in to try and get an advantage and make up some time on the front end. But right now it is all Trevor Earhart. He's now up over 20 laps led. And starting to really show some dominance here tonight at Texas. Started on the pole. He's led now 24 laps. And out in front, Ian Baker, his closest competitor. He's been very strong here in these opening laps. And Justin Sunard as well. He's moved up those 5 positions as mentioned previously. And he's hanging tough right here with these guys, even having made some passes in the early going of this race. And try to keep an eye on the pit road and when drivers are going to bring it in. And still, just 3 drivers have pit in this event. We're just keeping a close eye on that But I don't see anybody making their way towards pit lane here. I think they're probably going to hit that halfway mark. Some might go farther and kind of do the overcut, as the lap times really are not falling off at this point. They've stabilized right around 30.1, 30.2, 30.3, right in that range. Hello, Blazer Pete. Thank you for joining us. As the leaders are starting to catch up to some lap traffic. That's Parker Johnston right here in front of him. The Lowe's number 48. About to go a lap down. And he is well off the pace with the nose damage on that race car. As you see the 97 approach down to the inside here, down the backstretch. So it looks like Parker is going to take the inside lane and let Trevor go to the outside. And Parker probably going to bring it to the pit lane here. Not a bad call. Is Nate Morris also on the pit lane? The number 22 machine. Trying to keep an eye on if anyone else is bringing it down. Looks like just Parker and Nate Morris. Brad Allison coming down as well. Kevin Orlando Jr. now making his way onto pit lane. Nick Alves stopping. Jake Williams, Matt Janes. So a good portion of the field here. Bringing it down right at halfway. And here come the leaders. All three of them pitting at the same time. The 97 of Erhardt leads them down. Mike Aiello Jr. and James Loveland going to stay out on the racetrack. You see Brett Sommers getting his lap back. Or one of his laps back. He'll get the second one back here probably as the leaders come off the pit lane. There comes James Loveland to the pit lane. Tony Baird, he's a ways back. He has yet to pit. You'll see the race off of pit lane. Erhardt going to win that battle, and he's going to get a pretty good stop there. Actually pull a bit of a gap on Ian Baker coming off the apron. Tony Baird going to bring it onto the pit lane. So that leaves just 5 drivers having yet to pit. Mike Aiello Jr. leading them. He's going to continue to stay on the racetrack. Try and earn some bonus points here. Or he already has earned some points with the laps led. But Aiello Jr. started 10th. He's now your leader by nature of the pit cycle. And 5 drivers yet to pit. Erhardt leading the drivers who have pit. And Ian Baker right behind him. Justin Sunard's kind of lost touch with those two. And he's fallen back towards Brad Allison, who pitted a lap prior to him. So those two, we'll see if they work together to try and catch up to the leaders. And the 0-2 of Walterman with an issue. Oh, he's just bringing it down the pit lane. I thought I might have seen him slow. So Dylan Walterman going to pit from inside the top 5. That'll leave just 3 drivers yet to pit. Mike Aiello Jr., when does he bring it down? Every lap he runs, he's losing about 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds a lap. As the 15 of John Magner from 2nd position, he's going to bring it down. The pit stop picks machine. Dennis Steele going to remain on the racetrack. He'll move to 2nd for the moment. And Mike Aiello Jr., he's going to put a lap on Dylan Walterman, actually 2 laps. And yet to pit in the number 74. Here comes the 94 machine. And Sean Hustutler trying to get one of his 2 laps back. Sean started in the 7th position, but he kind of dropped like a rock there. Now just 1 lap down. But he'll get that back as Mike pits here soon. Dennis Steele still on the track. About 8.5 seconds up in front of Trevor Earhart, and they're hoping for a yellow flag or something at this point. Only 2 drivers on the lead lap, and Earhart in the lucky dog position in case anything was to happen. But all the other drivers would have to take a wave around and be on slightly older tires. So this, if anything does happen, it's going to be huge for ALO Jr., who's actually almost a lap ahead of Dennis Steele. But Trevor Earhart not too far behind. He's trying to get his lap back the hard way, and he's got a big push from Ian Baker right now. Those two 3rd and 4th position. And you got to think that Ian is probably thinking about lucky dog in case something does happen. It'd be a huge advantage as he gets a big slide out of turn 2. Gonna be able to stay right with Trevor. And the 15 of John Magner right there behind him, slightly fresher tires. As Mike ALO Jr., he's going to bring it to the pit lane now. The crash test Toyota Camry. Hard on the brakes getting into the pit lane. He's going to take it down. Does Dennis Steele try and lead a lap here? We'll see where Mike cycles out, because he was, I believe, inside the top 10 before the pit cycle started. So Dennis Steele going to stay out another lap. Looks like he's going to try and lead one here. Trevor Earhart now moves to 2nd, passing up Mike ALO Jr. and the 74 dropping like a rock through the running order. But he'll have fresher tires than everybody else pretty much. And right now in the 9th position, he'll get knocked down to 10th right there as Nick Alves goes past. As Tony Baird may not get past him. So Mike probably going to re-enter the field in the 10th position and with an advantage on tires. As Dennis Steele brings it to the pit lane. I don't think he actually led a lap. He did not officially lead a lap as Trevor Earhart takes over the lead. And we've got this battle brewing. Ian Baker and Trevor Earhart, as they've got lap cars of Dylan Walterman and John Magner battling behind them for the lucky dog position. So things getting shaken up just a little bit as Justin Sunard now 4 seconds behind the top 2. He lost a lot of ground in the pit cycle, just a poor re-entry onto the racetrack, I think. And he is in danger of losing spots. Parker Johnston tags the wall out of turn 2. So a few battles going on around the racetrack. Justin Sunard giving a big push there to the 72 of Douglas Wolkett, who finds himself a lap down in the 17th position. 32 laps on those tires. He'll probably have to bring it down here at some point. And the top 2 have broken away now. It's going to be a 2-horse race unless something happens to reel the rest of the field back in. The real wild card here is the lap traffic. How are those 2 cars behind them gonna race these leaders? And also other drivers like Brett Sommers up here. He's trying to stay on the lead lap. He's got a big slide going, almost 3 wide. As it looks like Ian Baker was going to try and make a pass there, but he thought better of it. He'll stay right in behind as now the battle for 3rd is on. Justin Sunard, Brad Allison, Kevin Orlando Jr. right there in the mix in the top 5, and James Loveland as well. So this 4-car pack all for position. And the 33 of Sunard going to go way up the racetrack. He'll just hand over all those spots. And it looks like Loveland did not use his fast repair. Or if he did, he's already got more damage on the right side. So the 56 trying to save that for later, perhaps. He thinks there could be something that happens later in this race. The 88 of Ian Baker, the way he's pushing, there could be an issue. And it would be at the front of the pack. But Ian Baker looking to the inside. Is he going to make it work down here in turns 3 and 4? Not going to happen. He backs out of it. They let the 97 of Trevor Earhart hang on to that spot. So Trevor Earhart out in front here. 68 laps. Going to be completed at the end of this one. And the top two out in front by over 4.5 seconds. Brad Allison moving into third with the pass on Justin Sunard. Now Kevin Orlando Jr. working the outside. Sunard back to fourth position. James Loveland working to the inside of Kevin Orlando Jr. Now this is 5th and 6th. And then 7th position, Nate Morris back here. Kind of all by himself. He's got a little ways to go to catch up to Kevin Orlando Jr. 4.8 seconds, the difference there. As he is dealing with the, it's the number 21, I believe. Christopher Heights, it is. So right now, 13 cars on the lead lap. Matt James starting to fall into the clutches of the leaders here. He's only got about 2 seconds, maybe 3 seconds back to Trevor Earhart. And along with him, Jake Williams and Sean Huffstetler all in danger of potentially losing a lap here before the end of this race. And Tony Baird about 6 seconds up the road from Sean in the 10th position. Kind of all by himself here. 5 seconds to the car in front. 6.6 behind him. So he is out here on an island. Tony Baird started 15th. He's riding in the top 10 right now. Nice solid run for Tony. And Tony was the winner at the Daytona Road Course 2 weeks ago. I'm trying to follow that up with a solid performance here in tonight's event. But Trevor Earhart fighting through some lap traffic. That's Dylan Walterman up high, the number 02, riding in 14th position. He's going to go a lap down here as soon as Erhardt can complete the pass. It looks like he's going to try and do that right now. Walterman going to drop right in between the leaders. Try and utilize the draft to his advantage. A little right front damage on Dylan's car. And he actually has fresher tires than all of these guys. So he has a bit of an advantage other than the damage. And it has gone green the entire way. Let's do a quick recap. 10 lead changes and no cautions. Green flag the entirety of this race. And we do have a field of 21 drivers. Everybody is still in the race. We've got 13 on the lead lap. Dylan Walterman trying to be 14 if he can get back up in front of Trevor Earhart. But the battle for the lead still raging up here. But Ian Baker getting caught up next to Dylan Walterman. That could really slow up his progress. And if he loses touch with that 97, it could be all over. As Brad Allison back here in third position. He's broken away from Kevin Orlando Jr. and others. Now 6/10 out in front of the 27. And there's a big slide there for Kevin. And then Justin Sunard right here behind Kevin Orlando Jr. He's going to get right to the back bumper through 3 and 4. James Loveland right there as well. All of them pretty much nose to tail. Justin looking for a way around. Not going to find it. And then on the tail end of the lead lap, Sean Huffstetler, Matt James, and Jake Williams still trying to make some progress and remain on that lead lap, but 26 seconds back for Jake Williams. Running right where he started, the Roadkill Garage Machine. A great show. As Matt James right where he started as well, and Sean Huffstetler back 6 spots A little bit better progress than he had made just a few laps prior. He was back to 16th or so not too long ago. Dylan Walterman battling it out with John Magner. This is for the lucky dog position. John with quite a bit of right side damage. He's hanging tough right there, though. Those two on pretty much the same tires, 21, 22 laps respectively. But not too much going on other than this battle for the lead now heating back up. Ian Baker within 0.2 of a second as we are just over 20 laps to go. Tonight's race presented by the Erhardt Group. You want to check them out in the chat. Their information is there. His caution is on the racetrack. The 48 of Parker Johnston involved, I believe. He's already taken it behind the wall. Maybe the 72 of Wolkett and the 14 of Scott Kerberg. And right as soon as I pitched the sponsor, oh, the 22 of Morris involved as well. What happened? It looks like it was between Parker Johnston and Douglas Wolkett. It's the 48. Gets loose. The 72 looks inside. A little bit of contact there. 48 starts to lose control. Catches the 72 hard into the outside wall. 48 makes contact. The 22 of Morris. Nowhere to go. He gets slammed into by the 14 of Kerberg. See it kind of happening up in the distance there. This is on board with Scott Kerberg. They're wrecking. Scott's still hard on the gas. Tries to just power through it, and he does lift, but man, big contact there for Nate Morris, who is really slowed up. He was going to avoid that, and then he just gets destroyed, and the 48 goes flipping. Man, hits that wall a ton and then barrel rolls. And look at that, the 81. Is that Nick Alves just barely avoiding him? See that car flipping through the air. Nick slows up, just narrowly avoids that car, and he weaves through the graveyard of race cars in turn number 1. And luckily for most of those drivers, they're going to get to use their fast repair if they can make it back around. But the 97 of Erhardt will win the battle off pit road. And this does change everything. It was going to be a 2-car fight for the win. And now this brings everybody back into it. And as I was saying, tonight's race is sponsored by the Erhardt Group. You can check them out, the link in chat, erhardtgroup.com. Whether you're interested in buying, selling, investing, or just want to stay updated on the Oklahoma real estate market, their goal is to provide you with all of the resources and tools to prepare yourself for a great real estate experience. The Erhardt Group can offer expert market knowledge, professional services, and an innovative online approach. So check them out. The erhardtgroup.com. Thank you to them for sponsoring, and hope they're out here and watching, tuned in. King Swashbuckler, thank you so much for the subscription. Says, can't wait for my sweatshirt. Yes, sir, it is on the way. And if you are interested in getting some merch of your own, we are doing a giveaway. If you follow our Twitch and Twitter, we got to reach those follower goals. We're about 45 followers away on Twitter, and we're just over 100 here away on Twitch. Almost at that magic number 400, which would be awesome if we could hit that in this broadcast. We want to thank everybody who's followed over the last few months. It's been an awesome journey, and So excited to continue growing, but follow on both of those accounts to be eligible for the giveaway. It's going to be any shirt or hat from the V-Speed website. You can also check out what we've got in the store at vspeedsim.com/merch. Who do you think's going to win tonight? Comment in the chat. Let us know who you're rooting for. Trevor Earhart has had good control over this race, now leading 50 laps. That's going to be the most of anyone in tonight's event. That's the halfway mark in terms of laps, so nobody can beat him. Ian Baker in second. He's led 19 here after starting in fifth. Brad Allison has led 2. He's right where he started in third. Kevin Orlando Jr. up to 4th after starting 9th. Justin Sunard up to 5th after starting 8th. James Loveland in the 6th position after starting 2nd. Actually, he is in 5th position. He has led a lap here. Mike Aiello Jr. started in 10th. He's up to 7th. He's led 10 laps. And lucky break there with the yellow flag to get him back in position to have a shot at this thing. Nick Alves in 8th. Tony Baird in 9th. And Matt Janes rounding out the top 10. We've got 16 cars on the lead lap. Some of those had taken a wave around, being Dennis Steele, Brett Sommers, and John Magner, the 3 cars at the tail end of the field here. So they're going to be a little bit slower than the rest of the pack, but this is going to get very exciting. Less than 20 to go, and the whole field bunched back up for our first caution of the race. Pace car makes it a hard left on the pit road. Waiting on Erhardt, and he's going to get us going. Green flag back in the air. Good restart by the 88 of Ian Baker. He's not going to let Trevor get too far out in front like he did on the initial start of the race. Brad Allison drops into 3rd position. No issues there. And James Loveland, I think he got the fast repair completed on that race car this time, and he'll be back up into competitive form in 4th position. Aiello, look at the restart there, up to 5th. And behind him, Kevin Orlando Jr., Justin Sunard going at it for the 6th and 7th positions, is now Loveland and Aiello Jr. side by side for 4th and 5th. Nick Alves looks to the outside of Tony Baird, trying to complete that pass. Look at this, 4 wide, and that's not going to work. The 33, the 74, 56, and Orlando, oh, up and over goes the 74. Caution flying. Cautions breeding cautions, and some of the heavy hitters here taking some heavy hits. As Aiello Jr. gets that car pointed in the right direction. Let's see what happened here. 4 wide out of turn number 2. It's a recipe for disaster. Let's take a look at how it developed. We take a peek here. The 74 machine of Mike Aiello Jr., and the 33 of Sunard, the 27 of Orlando, and the 56 of Loveland. All of those guys taking huge hits. And I think James may have used the fast repair just a bit too early. Your points leader going to have trouble finishing this one, I think. Let's take a look from behind them with Nick Alves. Huge wreck for the 2nd caution of the night. You can see they just all came together. Nick trying to weave through it all. He gets through it. I don't know if anybody else really involved. Who is that? And the 15 of Magner involved. He already had the damage. And look at that. The 21 machine. Let's go for a ride here with Christopher Heights. And yeah, no doubt the engine blows there. Mustang Gang, thank you for the follow. You've joined just in time to see the big wreck here on the backstretch. Let's go to the outside of this. Heights, man, just drills the side of Kevin Orlando Jr., goes flying through the air. Magner gets involved. Dennis Steele, rather Brett Sommers involved late in that. He's going to have a little bit of front end damage as the 74 of Aiello Jr. able to get rolling. And we'll see if he's able. He does get the car repaired, so lucky to have the fast repair in the back pocket. Dennis Steele off the pit road. John Magner, he's got heavy damage. You see Nate Morris here with the blown engine. I believe Nate already used his fast repair from the previous accident, so he's just trying to complete as many laps as possible. John Magner right there behind him. Sommers gets the fast repair. Loveland gonna sit and have repairs completed. Unfortunate for James Loveland, your points leader. He's gonna come out of here. Essentially, he may end up second to last as Douglas Wolkett, Parker Johnston, and Scott Kerberg out of the event. But Kevin Orlando Jr. and Christopher Heights. Also, actually, yeah, they're on pit road as well after going flying through the air. Not unexpected to see those cars sitting on pit lane. And it is Trevor Earhart at the front. He's led 55 laps here. And let's do a quick recap now. 10 lead changes still. 2 cautions in tonight's event. Pretty much back-to-back there. We went about 80 laps without any yellow flags, and now we've had 2. And it's going to set us up for about a 10-lap run to the finish. We got Mustang Gang cheering on Nick Alves, who rides in the 4th position. You see him right there, the number 81, able to avoid that wreck in the tricky Facebook Gaming Chevy Camaro. And Mustang Gang, want to thank you so much for getting us to 400 followers. Appreciate that so much. And you joined just at the right time. All the action happening right around when you tuned in. If you're interested in following V-Speed on other social media platforms, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can see all the links up there on your screen. You can also find race replays on YouTube over on V-Speed, and also check out V-Speed Garage, our second channel, bringing you real-world automotive content. We just picked up a 1987 Audi Coupe that we'll be doing some interesting videos on. So check us out over there, V-Speed and V-Speed Garage. And follow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook to stay up to date with what we're doing throughout the week. This is the season finale for the Underdog Racing League. The pace car lights are off. It's going to be 11 laps to the end of this race. Can they stay green the entire way? And look at this, James Loveland still on the lead lap. That car absolutely destroyed in 16th, but he's hoping that some other guys get caught up here before this race is all over. If there isn't another wreck, he'll probably go at least a lap down, maybe 2 laps down. But Trevor Earhart, Ian Baker, dominant cars in this race. They're going to lead us back to the green flag. Erhardt in control on the restart. Can he get another great jump here? And he does. But a good restart by Ian Baker as well. But the gap going to be about 4 or 5 car lengths as they cross the start-finish line. And he's going to have to try and reel him back in here. Brad Allison fighting for third. Nick Alves up on the high line. He's going to try and hold off Tony Baird, who moves into the top 5 here for the second week in a row. He won, or second race in a row, rather. He won at the Daytona Road Course 2 weeks ago. Now following it up with a 5th place effort so far. As look at this, they're stacking up. Justin Sunard, who got caught up in the last one. Mike Aiello Jr. in the 29 of Jake Williams fighting inside the top 10. And Sunard going to look to the inside of Williams. Looks like he'll be able to complete that pass here out of turn number 2. And they are shuffling up here inside the top 5. Sean Huffstutler has appeared back towards the front here in the 6th position, putting pressure on Nick Alves. Tony Baird moves to 4th. And the battle for the lead is on. Trevor Earhart trying to hold off Ian Baker. Less than 10 laps to go. And here comes Brad Allison as well. It looks like we might be having some connection problems. I think it might be all corrected now. Apologize for that. Less than 10 to go. The battle, three-way battle at the front. Brad Allison looking to the inside of Ian Baker. Nothing doing there as the 88 throws the block down into turn number 3. And the field working their way towards 5 to go. The 97 of Trevor Earhart, he's dominated this race. The Erhardt Group 150, can he take home his namesake event? In the season finale here, the last opportunity to win one in 2020. And Erhardt with 2 wins this season, looking for a third. That would be second best of the drivers this year. Look at the wiggle by Ian Baker. These guys really wheeling it down into the corners. Now Brad Allison right there behind him. And Tony Barrett is starting to reel them in. Nick Alves not far behind as well. He leads this kind of second group with Sean Hufstutler, Justin Sunard, Mike Aiello Jr., and others. And when do they make the move at the front? Here comes Brad Allison, going to try and take second position away. Can he clear Ian Baker? Side by side out of turn 4, the 88 with the draft and the momentum. Can he clear the 03 before they get to turn 1? 5 laps to go. The 03 of Allison really fighting down low, not able to clear the 88. That's letting Trevor Earhart pull away, and you see the 22 of Morris. That car, I think, blown up on the apron. And Brad Allison trying to get that pass completed. It looks like he might do it this time out of turn 4, and he will. Ian Baker going to drop in behind him. And now he's got to set his sights on the 97. We saw these two battle it out very early in the race. But look at Allison, the big send into 1 and 2, and he's just using all the tire that he's got with only 4 laps to go. The gap down to just 2 car lengths. Can Brad Allison steal this one away? He started up towards the front, was up in the top 5 or 6 almost all race. Now he's going to look to the inside of Trevor Earhart. Not going to happen that time as the 97 shuts the door. Here comes Ian Baker back to the inside. And Tony Barrett has joined the party at the front. 4 cars under a blanket. And then Nick Alves a few car lengths back. But now Ian Baker, he's going to complete the pass and take second away. Can he get up there and challenge Earhart for the victory? And Allison peeks down low again. Not going to happen. The 88 of Ian Baker really sideways through the corner, but Trevor Earhart also sideways. And they are nose to tail down the backstretch. The top 4 coming to the white flag this time. Can the 88 get there? Is he going to send the 97 to do it? Right to the back bumper, coming to the white flag. Through the grass a little bit for Erhardt. The 88 trying to get to the inside. Not going to happen. Erhardt shuts the door. Here comes Brad Allison. And the 88 able to get back into the low groove. Through turns 1 and 2, Trevor Earhart. He's dominated this race. Over 67 laps led. And only 2 more corners. Can Ian Baker make a move here and make the last corner pass? That's 97 a little loose. I don't think it's going to happen for Ian Baker. Trevor Earhart wins the Erhardt Group 150, the season finale of the Underdog Racing League. What a finish. And 68 laps led for Trevor Earhart on his way to victory tonight. What a drive by Trevor. His 3rd this season. A great way to cap off the end of the season. So big congratulations to Trevor Earhart. What a Wild finish. Ian Baker ending up in second position, less than a tenth behind, and Brad Allison rounds out the podium. Tony Barrett, a strong finish in fourth. And Erhardt winning the Erhardt Group 150. He sat on the pole, he led 68 laps, and a dominating performance at Texas for Trevor Earhart. We are going to cut quickly to a commercial break. Thank you so much for the follow, Conwan26. We will be right back with the post-race interviews, so you won't want to miss a thing.
V-Speed is proud to be partnered with Below the Double Yellow podcast, a podcast for NASCAR fans by NASCAR fans. Listen to Nick and Joe discuss all the latest on-track action, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. V-Speed is also proud to be broadcasting the Below the Double Yellow 2020 Cup Series, starting July 30th, Thursdays at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time.
I'm Jonathan Proper, CEO of Drops.com, and I'm here to give you the naked truth about laundry. Size does not matter when it comes to laundry. Let's start with jugs. It's big, all right, messy too, and expensive. You know why? Lots of plastic, lots of water, shipped all over the country, from factory to warehouse to retailer. That's what you're paying for. It's a dinosaur, and we all know dinosaurs are extinct. Meet our imitators. This is your average detergent pod. It has 20 plus chemicals with names nobody can pronounce. Nice colors. I hope they don't stain. I know color doesn't clean. Would you take a bath in either of these? No way. That's why we developed Drops. Drops is dye-free, MPE-free, phosphate-free, animal cruelty-free. So free, it's freaking awesome. We make Drops with only 6 safe ingredients, certified by the EPA. Drops is tough on dirt, but gentle enough for baby's skin. It's so gentle, I'm taking a bath in it. Doing laundry with Drops is hard to up. 1 drop equals 1 load. Now, can we talk about my package? 100% recyclable. Manufacturing Drops ourselves and distributing directly helps us cut out the middleman and reduce transportation costs. With delivery plans as low as $4 a month, the average family can save $100 a year. Hello? What are you saying? The cleanest clothes at the lowest price? You're damn right it's a great deal. Thanks for calling. Shipping is always free. You choose the product and plan that's right for you, and we'll drop Drops at your door. The naked truth is that Drops makes laundry better and life easier. Every Drops counts, saving money, plastic, water, and time. So go to Drops.com. The first one's on us.
All right, and we are back at the racetrack now with our race winner, Trevor Earhart. This is Adam of the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, Trevor, you started on the pole. You lead 68 laps in a dominating performance here. You had something figured out that everybody else couldn't quite master. What did it take here to win tonight?
A little bit of saving tire, and I think that was really about it. Ian was right there with me the whole race. He was better than me in 1 and 2. I was a little bit better than 3 and 4, but I think track position really is what helped me win that race, because it was so hard, especially during that long green flag run when you got to the inside of somebody to make a move on them. So the track position, and man, that was a good race and a great battle there with Ian.
Yeah, you two were the dominating cars during the race, and during the green flag pit cycle, you had broken out in front by over 4.5 seconds to the third place car, and looked like it was just going to be a two-way battle. Did you think you were going to have something to be able to hold him off, or how did you think that was going to go?
I thought in the long run I could hold him off, just because that's kind of how it played out at the start of the race. I knew he was going to be pushing me there to try to wear my tires out, because I mean we race each other hard, it's how it is. But I tried to save a little bit there, and it just, the cards fell our way tonight, and it feels good to walk out of here with a win.
Yes, sir. In the Erhardt Group 150, I'm sure that's you guys sponsoring the race. How does it feel to come out of here with the sponsored victory?
That part feels really good. I just wanted to come in and put on a good performance. Being the sponsor of the race, at least wanted to put on a good show and come out of here with a win. Kind of makes it especially sweet. So it feels really good.
Yep, and your third victory of the season. Just how do you think this year went for you? I know you missed. It looks like you missed a race, and kind of put you out of championship contention. But how do you feel your season went as a whole?
I feel like it went really well. There were a couple races, where some incidents kind of took me out of contention. But overall, it was a really good season. A lot of hard racing from these guys. A lot of improvement from everybody in the league, and the racing's gotten a whole lot better. And I'm looking forward to next season.
Yeah, definitely a great performance here tonight. Just the two cautions after a very long green flag run to open things up. And you come away with a dominating performance, taking home the victory in the Erhardt Group 150. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for tonight's run?
Shout out to the Erhardt Group, myself, and my whole team, and everything that they do for the state of Oklahoma real estate wise. Shout out to Justin for putting up with all of us and getting the league to where it is. Big shout out to you and V Speed for coming on board for the races that y'all did, and wish we could have kept y'all around for next season, but we wish y'all the best of luck moving forward in y'all's endeavors, and hopefully we can link up again sometime in the future.
Yeah, it's definitely been a pleasure, and been a lot of fun watching you race out here this season, and we'll definitely be following along. Just won't be in the broadcast booth for it, at least not for next year. We'll see how things go in the future, but thanks for putting on the show for us tonight and this season, and have a great rest of the night.
Thank you. You too.
All right, that was Trevor Earhart, your race winner here tonight. Let's go to second position, Ian Baker. Ian, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, Ian, runner-up finish for the second race in a row, I believe. You had a great performance here, started in the top 5, and it was you and Trevor all race long fighting for that front, the top position. Was there anything you could have done differently in the closing laps to take home the victory?
No, I don't think so. Trevor raced it as clean as he could, as good as he could, and there's no way. I had my left sides in the grass trying to get underneath him, and he drove it perfect. Shout out to him for being clean and driving a good race.
Yeah, fantastic battle between you guys. You lead 19 laps here tonight, though, so you had your fair share at the front. Definitely looked like you had the car to beat for quite a while there. Did the tires start to fall off, or were you struggling with anything kind of in the midsection of the race?
Yeah, it started to get a little bit loose. The tires started to wear. Right rear. I was trying to save the right rear. It just didn't go the way I wanted it to, and got a little loose there in the mid run. And Trevor got by me, and then we pitted and created a good gap, but caution came out at an unfortunate time for us.
Yeah, the two of you had broken away, and it was going to be a mano-a-mano type battle, but ultimately that was not the case. But you still end up right on top of each other at the finish. So a great battle there, and 2 runner-up finishes to close out the season. So definitely some strong performances. And how do you feel your season went as a whole here?
It went good. Besides the races that I've missed, it's been really good. Good finishes all year. Been top 10s, top 5s. So
Yeah, this will be your 6th top 5 and 8th top 10 in 11 starts. So definitely strong performance, and probably an average finish right around 7 or high 6s. So definitely been showing up here each and every week, and definitely a lot of fun to watch you out here. But second place tonight, anybody you want to give a shout out to for this race and this season?
I want to get a shout out to Justin. He's a leader. He does everything that needs to be done to make the races good and clean, and get the right people in the league. And I want to give a shout out to Trevor for racing a very clean and good race.
Awesome, Ian. Well, congrats on second place here tonight, and great season yourself. And we will catch you next time.
All right, thank you.
All right, that was Ian Baker, second place finisher. We'll go to third place, Mr. Brad Allison. Brad, you got a copy?
I certainly have, Adam. How are you?
Very good. And Brad, you put on a great show here in the closing laps, and actually in the early laps too. You were right up in the mix. Kind of fell behind those lead 2, but when the opportunity presented itself there at the end, you were right there fighting for the lead. Was there anything you could have done to capture the victory here tonight?
No, look, truly, both of them were far too quick for me to start with. I think I only caught them because of the caution came out, so I just wanted them to have a clean race. I haven't had the best of seasons as far as cleanliness goes, and I'm not proud of it, so I just didn't want to get into anybody.
Yeah, you took the lead pretty early in this event, and then we kind of missed what happened, but you dropped outside the top 5. Was there something that happened early on that caused you to lose the pace there?
Yeah, we got a little bit of net code there, which happens, unfortunately. So yeah, I got a 4X out of a net code, so that I wasn't sure how much damage was the car and that, so I just wanted to hold a position. Happy to drop back, save some tyres, and work it out.
Yeah, definitely a strong run from you here overall, though. You worked your way back up into the 3rd position. And looking at your results here over the last few races, 3 straight top 10s and 2 straight top 5s here to wrap up your season. So, how do you feel your season went pretty much as a whole, especially in these last few races?
Yeah, the last few races have been good. It's trying to get back down to the way. I mean, it was last season's champion, so I haven't driven anything up to that quality this year. As I said, I haven't been impressed with my driving at all. So I just got to get back on track, get the mind on the job, and be clean.
Well, definitely showing that pace here in the closing races of the season. So congrats on a podium finish here tonight. 2 laps led. You start 3rd, you finish 3rd. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Absolutely. Congratulations to Trevor for tonight and Ian, second place. Big shout out to Justin Sunard, of course, for doing all this, all the effort he goes to, all the help he gives drivers like me when I couldn't do a paint. He was the first bloke to put his hand up and do a paint for me during one of the sessions. Great congratulations to James Loveland, a deserved winner of the championship. And last but not least, a big thanks to my sponsor, Custom Paints and Die Casts. I promise you a better season next season.
Yeah, definitely a great looking race car out there. Well, congrats on a 3rd place finish once again. Go celebrate, and we will catch up with you soon.
Yes. Thanks for the broadcast.
All right, thank you. So that was 3rd place finisher Brad Allison. We're now going to go to our champion, James Loveland. Let's get his information up here on the screen. James Loveland, your 2020 season champion. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, James, I don't think tonight went exactly how you wanted it to close out the year, but dominating performance throughout this season, 5 wins, and you had a shot at it here at points tonight. But at one point you had 4 in a row. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat anybody who does something like that in such a short season. But just, how do you feel to be the champion here in 2020, and how do you think your season went?
Yeah, it's still trying to take it in a little bit. It's crazy to believe I just started iRacing in April, and to be a champion in a league is kind of unbelievable. And to win even 5 races in a season is unbelievable to me. But yeah, I just really enjoy this league. Had a fun time. These guys are great racers, every single one of them. They're really nice. And yeah, it's truly unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely a fantastic year. They just updated the points, and the margin was 29 points, so I think almost an entire race worth. So you had quite a leg up on the competition here. 9 top 5s, 10 top 10s. Ended up with a very, very solid average finish right around 6, and then over 300 laps led, so obviously very dominant. What made it happen for you this year? Was there something you found, especially being so new to the service? What did you learn through this year?
Mainly just driving behind other guys, learning different lines. See what line was better. Yeah, I basically used that and I took it to my advantage. When I first started in this league, I used to burn the tires off and I'd get passed by everybody, and I learned to conserve tires and everything. So I definitely learned a lot, and for some reason I really improved on it and somehow got a championship.
Yeah, that win at Dover really kicked things off for you there. You had a win and then only 2 finishes outside the top 5. So, man, you had a great run here this year. The 2020 champion, so congratulations on that. And not the race you wanted tonight. Was there anything you could have done differently? Maybe saved the fast repair, until after that wreck? I think that's really the only thing I saw. You caught the wall early, but anything you could have done in tonight's race?
Yeah, you're right on that. I probably should have saved the fast repair early in the race. Well, congrats to Trevor on the run, by the way. He had a great season as well. But he got a little loose in the corner, and I had to check up, and I bounced off the wall, and it kind of slowed my car down. So I used the fast repair when that caution came out, and I probably shouldn't have. I should have just fixed it. And then we all got in that wreck, and it just kind of ruined the rest of my race. But all in all, it's no big deal. I pretty much clinched the championship according to what Justin said, and I was just going out to have fun and enjoy the last race of the season.
Yeah, and it was definitely a fun one, a long green flag run to start things off, and then just a couple quick cautions, which you're all too familiar with, like you said, but put on a good performance. I mean, you drove from, you were outside the top 5 at the start of this thing, and you drove up, took the lead, and then a little contact with the wall set you back a little bit, but definitely a lot of fun watching out there all season long. And again, congratulations on the championship. So before we let you go, anybody you want to give a big shout out to, big thank you to for this year and tonight's race?
Yeah, again, congratulations to Trevor. Nice win out there. He was really fast tonight. Thank you to Justin in this Underdog Racing League. It's been a great season. Last season was a great season as well, and hope to continue running with these guys and having a great time. Also, thank you guys for on VSpeed for doing these broadcasts. Great broadcast. Hopefully in the future we could see you guys again or something. And that's pretty much.
Yeah, definitely been a lot of fun covering you guys this year, and we'll try and find a way to work with you guys. Definitely been a lot of fun. Just prior commitments at this point, basically. Not allowing us to join on for next year, but hopefully we can find a way to cover the races again in some form or fashion and cover this great racing action. But thanks for putting on a show all season long. Congrats on the championship. Go celebrate and have a great night.
Sure.
All right, that is your champion here this season, James Loveland. And let's go to the full race results before we head out for the night. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. 2 cautions, 10 lead changes in the Erhardt Group 150 from Texas. Season finale won by Trevor Earhart, who dominated 68 laps led after starting on the pole. He takes home the victory. Ian Baker right there in the second position. Very close in tow behind that 97 all race long, just not able to get past him in the closing moments. Brad Allison, a strong run in third. Fourth position was Tony Baird for his second straight top 5 to close out the season. Fifth position, Justin Sunard, a very good race for him. Nick Alves finished 6th. Mike Aiello Jr. finished 7th. 8th was Jake Williams. 9th was Sean Huffstutler, a good recovery from him. And Brett Sommers rounds out the top 10 here in the season finale. Great race by Brett as well. Good recovery as he was a lap down around 18th position, I think, at one point. As we go to the next page, 11th position, Matt Janes in the number 51. 12th position was Dennis Steele. 13th was John Magner. 14th, Dylan Walterman. 15th, James Loveland, your season champion. Got caught up there late. He rounds out or ends up in the 15th position. 16th was Nate Morris. 17th, Kevin Orlando Jr. 18th, Christopher Heights. 19th, Parker Johnston. Rounding out the top 20 was Douglas Wolcott. In 21st position, Scott Kerberg rounding out the field here. 24 laps off the pace. And want to give a big shout out to everybody here at the Underdog Racing League, the Erhardt Group, for sponsoring tonight. Underdog Racing League, we want to thank them for having us on all season long, and really excited for things to come in the future for these guys. They put on a great show each and every week. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to bring the Cup season to you next year with these guys, but hopefully we can find a way to present some of their racing action here on V-Speed. And we want to thank everybody who supported us and supported this league throughout the season. If you're interested in following along with what V-Speed is doing throughout the week, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, or check us out at our website, vspeedsim.com, to stay up to date with what we're doing. And, of course, we can't make all this possible without the fans, without people tuning in. So thank you all, again, for following, for subscribing, and so on and so forth. It really means a lot to us, and going to be a lot of fun continuing to grow. Tomorrow night we will be back with the Below the Double Yellow Cup Series. You won't want to miss that race. That should be a very fun one from Richmond, and some beating and banging on the short track. Going to be very exciting. And we'll be back here next week with a lot of the drivers from this series in the Bikes for Tykes charity race. That'll be on Wednesday about the same time. So we will keep you updated with the information on that. Check us out on our Twitter and Facebook to stay tuned for those announcements. And we'll be here a couple times each week for the next few weeks. And then we'll be moving into the Christmas season, and we'll be off for a couple months. So things are going to be changing here pretty quickly, so stay up to date with what we're doing on our socials. And we're going to jump in with somebody here tonight. Let's see who's streaming. We're going to jump in with Mr. David Schildhouse. It's Schildhoused. So go enjoy his iRacing content. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.